Hi everybody, Louise Eddington, Cosmic Owl Astrology, Cyberpunk Priestess, Witch Priestess to the stars, all those things. And boy, oh boy, I'm so busy getting caught up. But in the meantime, I managed to hop to the animal shelter this morning and adopt another cat. Her name is Gracie, and you will meet her eventually. But before I dive in, I'm going to talk about Mars opposing Uranus today. But I want to remind you all that tomorrow, Wednesday, I am live streaming a party for launching my new website and all those kind of things. And I just want it's at 11 a.m. Mountain. It'll be on YouTube. I'm going to try and figure out how to get it on Substack, and it's also going to be on my Facebook personal page and my Facebook business page. So anywhere you can follow me, you can find it. But I do want to tell you kind of something really kind of funny right now. So I picked the time to do this launch party because it felt like a good day. I don't do what's called electional astrology really. I don't, unless it's like just, a big aspect that's kind of obvious. But for things like this, I kind of go, well, that works that day. I've got this time, it feels right, and I just go for it. Well, you cannot make this up energy. So tomorrow, when I do this at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, Mars will be at 0 Sagittarius, and that's on my natal Mercury at 0 Sagittarius. Can't make this stuff up. Then later that night or day, the moon will move into Gemini, and I will also have my lunar return. But not only that, I'm not going to explain it all. I'm not going to show you my chart, can't be bothered, but I'm going to be having kind of like a Mars return and a lunar return and a Mercury return. Not right at the time of the call, but everything is kind of lining up for me in that way. You really cannot make this up. So yeah, at 11:23 a.m. Mountain, which I'll be on the launch call, I will have my natal Mercury return. According to this, it says, not quite, but anyway. And then the next day I'll have a lunar return. But Mars, anyway, it's like everything's lining up in my chart. There's other things too I could talk about, but I'm not going to. I just find it really funny how when you tune into the energies and work with them all the time, well, at least for me, it seems that I just pick the right, day, time, all those things. So today I want to talk to you about this Mars-Uranus return. We just had opposition, sorry. So I'm recording this November the 4th, Tuesday, and we actually just had that opposition just a short while ago at 0 degrees 8 minutes of Gemini. So Mars has just moved into Sagittarius. Uranus is about to move back into Taurus. And so Mars, well, anyway, Mars has just left its home sign because Mars is the traditional guide for the sign of Scorpio. And Uranus in Gemini is very much about big innovative ideas and shocks and ideas and all these things. So there could be some big shocking news. There could be a bit of a rampage for revealing the truth, because having Mars in Sagittarius as I do natally, I know that we like to fight for truth and for the future. And it has got a very forward thinking, very let's kind of reveal everything kind of energy. And then Uranus retrograde in Gemini Mercury and Uranus. Mercury's the guide officially for the sign of Gemini, and Uranus and Mercury are similar in energy, but Uranus is kind of like higher mind in many ways, like those bigger ideas, like the innovation, the inventiveness, and all of those kind of things. But Uranus is retrograde. So I'm expecting some quite possibly quite shocking news. I'm not going to say that it's going to be awful. It could be good, but I guess that depends on your perspective, right? Because what's awful for one group of people or one person might not be so good for others, because we all have a different perspective. All right, so I want to talk to you about the symbols. So this is happening at 0 degrees of Sagittarius and 0 Gemini. And so I want to quickly look at the symbols for 0 Sagittarius, which means we go up one. And according to John Sandbach, I'll read him first of all. For Sagittarius 1, his omega symbol is a woman who writes so much in her diary she has no time for anything else, which is just like, welcome to my mind, all these ideas going all the time. And so but it is a highly inward degree, and that kind of figures with this opposition. He says it's full of complex thoughts, feelings, and an endless array of impulses and reactions. When driven by neurosis, chaotic and confusing and running in circles. But if one can track with the guidance of the higher self, they will be led to all those places within that need to be healed. Attunement to spirit finds the way forward. Now, the Chandra symbol for this degree is really interesting. This is a woman manacled in solid gold chains. If you're going to be bound to something, it's important to be connected to something truly meaningful and not just meaningful to the little ego. This degree feels its connections with the world to be important. It has a deep need to be bound and tied to something it feels has meaning. At worst, it may confer that sense of importance on things which are negative, dysfunctional, and which retard its spiritual progress. But if it ties itself to those things which can eventually free it by fostering its growth, then it will have truly fulfilled its deepest need. And that's for where Mars is right now. Okay. Now, I will say that you know me, I don't do the whole fear thing. Again, some of these aspects could be a little bit shocking, and I'll talk more about the opposition and the cycle of it as well before I pull a card at the end. So, this one's really interesting. So the Sabian symbologist, who I like, says it's time to pass the peace pipe. But on James Burgess' site, we get the symbol, which is a grand army of the Republic campfire. Rudyard said it's retired army veterans gather to reawaken old memories. And James Burgess says, processing the lessons within our mistakes and struggles. This will happen collectively and also individually. We can see culture as the softer side of civilization, wherein we tame the beast within humanity by getting people to appreciate more subtle things like art and the technologies of comfort. Yet to contain nature's violent disregard for our comfort and security at first requires a stronger approach than culture alone. And he also says it's about finding meaning, which is a very Sagittarius word, within our struggles. All right. So I think that makes sense a lot about what's going on in the world. Okay. And also, this is, Sagittarius and Gemini is finding truth, listening to other people's ideas and thoughts and opinions, and knowing that we are not all the same. And these two are also mutable signs, Sagittarius and Gemini. So there is going to be change coming. All right. So pay attention to it. It's also got this really kind of fiery electrical vibe with Mars opposing Uranus. And we do have all these big sunspots coming. We've also got two comets, even though Atlas is apparently, well, NASA says it's a comet, some say it's not, whatever. There is also a comet, his name I cannot remember. Stephen Burns talks about it. And this other comet is also like passing closest to the Earth to do its turn around the sun. Sorry, closest to the sun on this full moon. So this is hugely electric energy. There could be some electrical outages. There could be some wonky communications. There could be, like I said, some shocking news in a good way or a bad way. It's very kind of charged energy. So there we have it. Today, this is happening right now. So just look for what's coming out, all right, today as this opposition happens. Now I want to talk about the cycle of this. Mars and Uranus began their cycle back on July the 15th, 2024, because Mars had a retrograde. Now then, that was at 26 degrees of Taurus, and that was conjunct fixed star Algol, which has a reputation for beheading in some way, not always literal. And if you remember back to that summer of 2024, that's when our current apparent occupant of the White House apparently got shot in the ear, and also that kind of launched the demise of Biden as the presidential candidate. Both the people were aspected by this aspect, which is where Mars and Uranus met at 26 Taurus. And they met at 2619. Algol back then was at 26 degrees 30 minutes. Now then, this is not going to be as intense, but it is going to revisit something that began back then. Information could come to light from that period, that middle of July 2024 period, that could rattle our bones and shake things up quite a lot. All right. I don't think I need to go on anymore. It's just kind of huge. Incidentally, though, I do want to say that today, as we have this opposition, Algol is still at 26 Taurus, and Uranus will go back to 27 degrees Taurus. Will not quite conjunct Algol again, but Uranus will also visit or revisit things from middle of July 2024. Uranus won't turn direct till February the 3rd, 2026. Less than a degree from Algol, but this is really kind of that revisiting kind of energy. Obviously, I'll look more at that then. But all this to say, this opposition today is pretty huge, to be quite honest. And it's like I said, it's very charged, very electrical, very buzzy. It's kind of funny. I've been traveling, and when I was away, I got sick with this very weird virus, and I've not quite cleared it. My ears are blocked up, and I feel like I've got a bit of a cold, yet I don't feel sick still. It's all very weird. But I find it interesting that Gemini is listening. And as I said, James Burgess said that this is a very inward degree, and the 0 Sagittarius degree. And it's almost like I've got to listen to my inner voice with the ears. You cannot make astrology up sometimes. All right. So I want to keep this short. but I am just going to pull a couple of cards for this quick video. I'm probably going to do a few videos this week, but I did want to speak to you about this Mars-Uranus opposition because it is a big one, and it is harking back to that summer, middle of July 2024. So I'm just going to pull one card from the Witch deck for this opposition, and then I'll pull one from the Tarot deck. Oh, funny. We've had this before. Now, 0 degrees is the full, in the tarot. 0 is the alpha and the omega. It's a new beginning. It's all those kind of things. And I think we had this in the video I did yesterday. I don't know, I've pulled so many cards lately. But anyway, this is the maiden journey again. Flying carpet, look at that. Birds, which are very much about flight and ideas and inventiveness as well. But just look at the image of this card about rising up above all that darkness below, right? Anyway, let's reveal what Angie Sullins wrote about this card. I read some of it yesterday. I think I'm going to read it all again. This is a journeying moment, whether you're on a spiritual quest, journeying into a new venture or relationship, or actually planning a trip. This moment encourages you to take stock of where you've been and where you are going. Often in the middle of a journey, we lose sight of the bigger picture, easily caught up in the details. As our flying carpet will tell you, this is a time to soar up higher to get a broader perspective. What is the purpose of your current journey? Where did you start, and what is the shape of its conclusion? Let your heart move up into the clouds to get a bat's eye view of the course you are charting. A witch, woman in total control of herself, knows that preparation is an important part of the journey. So if you're starting out, take care to gift yourself with the supplies and support you will need. But a witch also knows that no matter how much she prepares, she will encounter twists and turns on every journey. Very Uranus, twists and turns, right? So a sense of adventure, bravery, flexibility, humour, and a big picture perspective are the most vital tools. You never leave familiar shores without them. Take the time to befriend your journey and allow your current perspective to expand into the horizon of possibilities. Be courageous as you follow your ambitions. As a poet once said, we cannot discover new oceans without being willing to lose sight of the shore. There you go. One other card, and then I'll go and start preparing for the live stream tomorrow. Woohoo! It's going to be fun. And don't forget, there's a signed giveaway of this. There's a, something else I'm going to be kind of offering on the call. And I'm just going to talk about my journey, how I got to where I am at, show you my new website, things like that. So it's just informal and fun, which is very Gemini. So can't make this shit up. I'll probably look at the astrology at the start of the call and talk in more depth about that. And I might show my chart then too. All right. Here we go. Ooh. 4 of Blades. Again, we get an air sign card and mind thought. But again, she's blindfolded, right? This figure, I'll show her again in a minute. I love this deck. It's so gorgeous. And this is I Am Withdrawal. I think I better listen to my ears, right? This is withdrawal. So it says, if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. And Victor, that's Banksy. Victor Hugo said, "What makes night within us may leave stars." Rest a while, she says. And it's kind of funny. I did literally just say to my husband, I've got a little bit of work to do, then I have a client, and I finish quite early, and I am actually going to rest afterwards, try and shake this thing. So there you go. But I think it's really more about listening to that inner voice for these inner kind of awakening, kind of lightning bolt idea, thoughts and innovations that come through. So enough. I'll see you next time. No doubt I'll do a few of these pop-up things this week. There's just too much going on. Oh, because I forgot to mention as well that Mercury is stationing retrograde on the 9th in 5 days' time. So we're in the turnaround zone as well. So come to the live stream, or it'll be recorded, but it's more fun live, or and to find out more about the astrology of this moment. Well, see ya.